And welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation, your everyday Rangers news channel, guys. Where your content is free. All you've got to do is smash that sub and obviously ring the bell so you never miss out on any of the content. Well, Rangers came away from Easter Road last night with all 3 points in what was a relatively comfortable victory in the end. We'll obviously touch on that tonight. We're also obviously going to discuss the rather bad news that came out before the game as regards Rangers top scorer Abdallah Sima, who returned from AFCON injured. Obviously, we look at the other news around the club. So let's obviously talk about that first of all. Let's talk about the news that Abdallah Sima will be out for 2 to 3 months, according to manager Philippe Clement. Philippe Clement spoke to Rangers TV before the game and spoke about the fact that Abda has had to have surgery on his abductor longus, his thigh injury, and will be out for 2 to 3 months. Now, he headed off to AFCON. I think there was obviously hopes that he would impress out there, that he would continue his good form for the sake of Abdallah. Part of us, I suppose, was kind of hoping that he wouldn't, because obviously I think the worry was there he'd bump up the price, and we didn't want to obviously increase his price. We do want Abdallah Sima at the club. I think long term he is a very talented player. But look, I'm a realist. I understand that at the end of the day, we probably won't be able to afford to pay the money that Brighton are looking now. He is with us, though, on loan until the end of the season. Now, I assume from what Philippe Clement was saying that he will remain with Rangers for his rehab. And Philippe Clement is very much hoping that Abdallah Sima will be available at the end of the season and will play some part towards the end of the season. And I think that will be a huge boost. It'll be like a new signing, I suppose, when he comes back, if he is able to come back after his surgery. I mean, you never know with footballers. They have a different sort of body to us, don't they? When some people expect, if it's us, we're out. We can't do things for months, whereas footballers, it seems like 2-3 weeks, and they're suddenly back from injury. So, look, we don't know with the situation, but as Philippe Clement says, it is going to be 2 to 3 months. Now, it's going to be a huge loss. But with the greatest respect to Rabbi Matondo, to Ross McCausland, to Scott Wright, these guys are not in the same class as Abdallah Sima. He has been, first class this season. He's 15 goals, for example, and his quality play on the left-hand side. I think we can all kind of agree that, even though last night was a very good display by the team, there is still that Abdallah Sima-sized hole on that left-hand side. Now, Matondo at times did flash and did impress, but then at other times kind of clearly lacked a bit of an end product. Great pass for the Dessers goal. Couple of moments where he flashed the ball over. There was the Silva chance that he helped create. Then there was other moments where he kind of looked a bit lost and literally lacked that end product. Other than him, who else is there you can play out there? Who else can play on that left-hand side and be as effective as Abdallah Sima? It certainly seems gutting that, Abdallah has been hit by this injury bug that seems to be at the club. And, we wish, obviously, Abdallah a very speedy recovery. He is a huge loss, a massive loss. And the news that he's going to be missing for 2 to 3 months is bad. It is bad. At the end of the day, it does kind of, I think, really push that we do need to go and get a winger as well now in this transfer window, with Abda likely to be missing for up to 3 months. Abda's a class act, and he will be missed. The other things, I suppose, out of last night was the fact that Raskin and Cantwell were both removed at half time. Todd Cantwell, apparently was removed because he has a small muscle problem, was the exact words were used by Philippe Clement. Now, whilst Todd was not brilliant last night, he certainly went missing. At times, he did score a rather fine goal, didn't he? His shot, his turn, and his shot was absolutely excellent. He got the ball, he turned, got the ball out of his feet and smashed it into the back of the net. An absolutely fantastic finish. Then running away to the crowd doing this, obviously, I think he'd had some stick from the Hibs fans. He was merely just giving it back. But overall, the performance from Todd last night was far from impressive. I think that finish shows what he's capable of. That finish shows the class that he has. And I think I'm not going to slag him off and sit here, yeah, that's too easy. I think it's kind of frustrating, Rangers fans. That's what it is, to know that this lad has all the talent in the world, has all the ability in the world, and it doesn't seem to be coming out at the moment. Like I said, he was kind of posted missing for most of that first half against Hibs. And for me, it's just, I don't know, it's frustrating because, like I said, he is a very fine footballer, a very talented footballer. And I expected a lot more of him. You know, I think we spoke, didn't we, on the video? And I think a lot of people have spoken about the fact that we wanted a big performance from him last night. You know, a chance to obviously really go out and run the game, and he did seem at times to be missing. And you know, Tom Lawrence certainly impressed when he came in and had a good goal unfairly chalked off. And we are going to talk a little bit about VAR shortly. But look, you know, Tom did well. I think Tom obviously may even move into pole position to play against St Mirren on Saturday, especially if Cantwell has a niggle. Also got to say as well that, you know, Raskin went off and he was replaced by Dujon Sterling. Now, I thought Dujon Sterling was absolute class again last night. I mean, to say this lad was signed as a fullback who can play right back or left back, he's really made that midfield slot, you know, a position where he needs to be considered for. I thought he was just very, very talented again. Very, very good. You know, he battled for the ball. Even when he lost it, he fought to get it back. He showed excellent vision at all times. His distribution was good. He got forward. He covered back. He just looked an absolute quality player, sort of Claude Makelele-esque in that position. And I thought him and Lunny were excellent together. But Dujon Sterling, you know, comes away again from Easter Road with a lot of credit in the bank for what he did. And you know, if it is that Nicholas Raskin is injured yet again, and let's certainly hope not, because we don't want Raskin to kind of fall into that always injured category that a number of players in our squad seem to inhabit. You know, Dujon, like I said, was excellent. He was absolutely excellent. And I think, you know, that he has again played himself into a pole position to get a starting role on Saturday at 12:30 against St Mirren. This game, obviously, the game will be streamed live here on, well, it'll be a live watch along, guys. As you know, I can't show the game because of copyright rules. Will be obviously, you know, shared here and shared on the channel here. So please come and join me for that live stream. Like I said, worrying about Nicholas Raskin. When he was asked about Nicholas Raskin at the post-match press conference, the comment that was made by Philippe Clement was this one. He said, "Nico, his foot was sleeping. We thought it was because of the tape. We took the tape out, and he had the same sensations. He cannot play on one foot. That's why we made the changes." It sounds like he has an issue with his foot, obviously from his injury. Certainly, it is to be hoped that is not serious, and it will not keep him out for any length of time. So obviously, Cantwell and Raskin, minor injuries. Hopefully they're not going to be injuries that keep them out for a number of weeks. It would be very frustrating, I think, with Nicholas, given the fact that he's just come back from injury, if he then went out again with another injury. I thought, you know, players last night who really stood out for me. I thought John Lundstrom was, again, absolute class. Absolutely superb again in the game. He ran the game, he controlled, he covered the back four, picked up the ball from the back four, was metronomic in his distribution, got forward well, had a couple of shots, as Philippe Clement has been asking for him. And that pass for the Ridvan goal, the little lob over the top was absolutely delicious. It was absolutely superb. John Lundstrom, for me, was my man of the match. I thought he was absolutely excellent against Hibs tonight. The man, though, that really stood out for me, you know, given the sort of what's been going on in recent times, was Ridvan Yilmaz. I thought Ridvan was just phenomenal last night. I thought his defensive work was excellent. I thought he got forward very well. I thought, you know, he crossed the ball well. His set piece delivery was good. I thought all round, I thought Ridvan was absolutely brilliant. And that finish was just phenomenal. The way that, you know, he took that lob from John Lundstrom down on his instep, and then with the next step, he smashes it beyond Hibs goalkeeper David Marshall. Again, I thought that Ridvan was absolutely exceptional tonight, played very well indeed. Was certainly one of Rangers' top performers tonight. Supplemented as well by, I thought, the fact that Jack Butland was excellent and John Suter too. Now, Jack Butland makes 3 excellent saves in that game. You know, any of those goals go in, it could be a very different game. But yet again, Jack Butland to the rescue on a number of occasions with a number of absolutely superb saves. You know, proving, I think, that what we all know, that Jack is by far the signing of this season. He has been absolutely outstanding and continues to be. And I think that sort of sets him apart is not only the saves that he makes, but the control he has over his defense. If you look at him, he's all the time, he's giving instructions, he's directing, he's shouting, he's yelling, he's prompting, he's telling them where he wants them, he's telling them who he needs them to cover. He's doing an excellent job of leading them and organizing them. And I think, especially given the fact that one of the concerns was tonight that with Connor Goldson suspended, we would lack the organization at the back. Having Jack there doing that was certainly absolutely fantastic. Now, I thought John Souttar also was absolutely fantastic tonight, as was Liam Balogun. John Souttar came in for Connor Goldson. Again, there was a few people saying in the media that, we could miss Connor Goldson, we could miss his organizational abilities, his directional abilities at the back. I thought John Souttar more than adequately covered Connor Goldson, and I think it would be very unfair on John Souttar if he was to be dropped for Saturday's game against St Mirren. I think that he's more than earned a right to kind of fight for that place. His performance was superb, and there's a block at the end where he throws everything on the line to block that shot. John Souttar has come in for some criticism this season for some of his performances, but I thought tonight he did everything right. There was no jumping under the ball. There was no losing his the guy he was marking. He was first class tonight. So again, John Souttar, another top performance tonight. I thought as well that the finish by the much criticised Cyril Dessers tonight was absolutely excellent. I mean, it all stemmed. If you go back and watch it, it all stems from a brilliant high press by Rangers. Absolutely superb high press on Hibs as they tried to play out from the back. And, Matondo nicks the ball back and plays a superb slide rule pass in for Cyril Dessers, who then takes it and, leaves three players looking extremely foolish to finish, absolutely superbly. And I think, it's what we've talked about, kind of, that Dessers is, as he was at Feyenoord and as he was in Holland, better from the bench than he is starting. And certainly that could be a role that hopefully he can play for us this season, especially if we go on to sign a striker in this January transfer window, which, still is very much the need. I thought Fabio Silva did well. I thought he moved players around well. I thought he was very, very good indeed. Now, one thing we do need to kind of pull out from tonight, and I think, there's been an awful lot spoken about the whole VAR debate, hasn't there, since the Old Firm game. That's kind of been laid to rest, and Michael Stewart's had his comments on that. Everyone's had their two penneth on the VAR debate. Now, one thing for me was that tonight VAR very much let us down. First of all, in the first half, there was the penalty incident with Fabio Silva. Silva wins the ball back perfectly fairly. If you look back on it, there's virtually no contact on Silva on the Hibs defender, who then stumbles, falls, and drags Silva down. It's a stonewall penalty. It's an absolute stonewall penalty. Quite how it's not awarded, I really, really cannot tell you. And the fact that VAR doesn't intervene and doesn't come in and say, I think you need to take a look at that one again, referee, I think is just utterly ridiculous. And then you've got the whole Tom Lawrence goal, which could have been a fourth goal. I mean, you look at the line, where the line is drawn, it's not even drawn accurately. Tom Lawrence is on the 18-yard box. Move that line back a bit. Again, it's touch and go. It's absolute touch and go. And I think there was a directive that came out a few years back that when it comes to these decisions, that the benefit of the doubt has to be given to the attackers. And the length of time it took as well to carry out that VAR review was utterly ridiculous. VAR is, again, letting the game down. It's slowing the game down. It's not making effective decisions. It really isn't doing its job the way it should be. And for me, again, last night, it lets down Rangers. It lets down the Scottish game as well. It was just sloppy, absolutely sloppy. And I thought it was poor. It was very, very poor again last night. And I think, the Scottish FA, the SPFL really need to look at how VAR is being used and look at, the effectiveness of the system that is in place. Can we learn more from Europe? Can we learn more from the EPL in terms of developing VAR and using VAR more effectively to be, to speed up decisions, to be more accurate with decisions, obviously to be quicker as well with decisions, is certainly one that is open for debate. So that's where we're up to with that. I was pretty appalled again at those decisions. Tom Lawrence impressed when he came on tonight. I thought, good to see him back. Hopefully he can stay fit. Hopefully he can continue to play a part. Hopefully he can, do a job for Rangers going forward. And I think, if depending on how serious Todd Cantwell's injury is, Tom Lawrence could certainly play a part. Now, moving on, the January transfer window is now the 25th of January. We are but 6-7 days from the end of the January transfer window, and certainly a desire that Rangers really sort of speed up any recruitment process and certainly hopefully get a striker and a winger in. Hopefully Ridvan is going nowhere. I really do hope that we say no to any decision now and we hang on to Ridvan. I think if we do, we can get an awful lot more money from him in the future. He is an absolute class act, and I really don't want to be relying on Borna as our starting left back. I'd much rather be having Ridvan there. It looks like the Diomande deal will be done extremely soon. That obviously was slowed down by the whole Storm situation, but it does look like that he has passed the medical, and that deal will be finalised sooner rather than later. And given the performances, I think, of Todd Cantwell in recent weeks, it could be that Diomande comes into the team and kind of takes that role. He can play in that attacking midfield role, and it's certainly to be hoped that this guy is as good as he is been made out to be. Well, guys, let me know what you think of the stories we've covered in the video today. Whenever you watched it, obviously morning, afternoon, evening. And as always, guys, if you can smash the sub, that would be absolutely phenomenal. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. On the way out, if you can do me two favours. Number one, smash the like. And number two, as always, never forget, we are the people.